today's a special day. It's 6 months living in our van full time. We picked our van up late last year, and yeah, we've been since the handover day. That was the day that it became our van full time. So what I want to do is just show you some stats and talk to you about the 6 months, how that's been living on the road, and we'll go through a few things. So alright, stats. So the car's a 2012 Mitsubishi Pajero. We own it. That's the car that we chose to pull the van. The van is a Jawa Infinity 15. It has bunk beds in it. So that's the house on wheels that we chose and picked up. The car itself's done 29,500 kilometres since we left in that 6 months, and the van has done 15,000, just shy of 16,000 I believe it was. So where I got that stat from, I keep a record on Wikicamps. It's called Trip Planner on Wikicamps. So it just tells us where we're going, and I started doing it just with the van because I was curious to know how many Ks I was putting on the van more than the car, because I've had the car for many years. I know the car. So anyway, that's those stats. Other things were, we've set up camp 72 times in that 6 months, giving us an average of 2.53 days per camp. That's quite fast moving if you ask me, considering that whilst we were in South Australia, we camped up for, it felt like a long time at a couple of places, McLaren Vale, Barossa Valley, probably another winery there I'd imagine. But yeah, so 2.3 days per setup. The setup's very easy. I've put a couple of videos up about the setup and things like that, but look, it takes 10 minutes, it takes 20 minutes. As you can see behind me, I've got the annex fully up today. We're bunkered down, trying to get out of some bad weather. So when I set up fully with the annex, it takes a bit longer than 10 minutes. But it is what it is. We just adapt to whichever situation we're in at the time. Sometimes I don't unhitch at night if we pull up to a camp. Other times we will unhitch because there's places around that we need to explore, and it's just easier without the van on it. The van's quite capable, but yeah, we just prefer to set up and then unhitch and then take off in the car by itself. So that's the reason why the car has another 14,000 kilometres on it, above and beyond what the van has. So that's probably it there. The other thing is 4 states. Started in Queensland at Sunshine Coast, made our way through New South Wales, explored South Australia quite thoroughly. We really enjoyed South Australia, then made our way up to the Northern Territory from there. So looking on the map, when I look on the map of Australia, it's a bit disheartening because as far as we've gone and the places we've seen, we still haven't scratched the surface. Yeah, it's a big country. So how have we handled travelling with a toddler? So Austin was 14 months old when we first started. So yeah, he's 20 months now. He'd only just started. He'd only been walking for a little bit as well. So his sleep patterns weren't thorough. He wasn't sleeping properly at night. He still doesn't sometimes. It is whatever. But it's been good. It's been good for me as a father. Not working and being able to spend every minute with my son is just phenomenal. The bond that I've created with Austin is, it's a father-son bond, and it's unbreakable. And it's been the best thing that I have ever done personally in my life, was to pack the family up and go travelling. It's brought Jess and I closer as a couple as well. It's been one of the best things we've ever done. Austin does struggle to sleep sometimes at night time. He's got a big bed too, so you got to remember that when we were at home, he was in a cot. We've gone straight into the van, and he's got a double bed. The bottom bunk in this Infinity in our van is a double bed, so he's got plenty of room to move around. So it took some adjusting to get used to that. I suppose the beauty about having that double bed was Jess can lie down with him, and does. She's actually doing that right now as I'm doing this video, lying down, putting him to sleep at the moment. So, and I've slept in there a few times myself. So yeah, it's been pretty good. Austin gets his cohesion about cars is very, very good. He can play. He can walk on the road, for example, and then he'll realise a car's coming and he'll get off the road. He's very, very mindful of cars being on the road. Cars are the best thing in his world, so he loves cars. And the ability that he's had to be able to communicate with just random strangers, saying hello, goodbye. He's very confident with going up to other kids and trying to play with them and things like that. I'll talk about that a bit later, but yeah, he's very good with that. So, and he also helps me set the van up and pack the van up. He's very good with the stabilising legs. He tells me how far up they have to go and things like that. But not big fan on getting on the spanners, but he's more of a I'll tell you how to do it, Dad. So expectations versus realities. This is the big one, right? So let's take this for example. Expectation before we left was weather. We were going to be in awesome weather 100% of the time, sun shining, beautiful days. The reality is that's just not the case. People talk about chasing good weather, and you literally have to chase the good weather. You're either running to it or running away from the bad weather, however way you want to look at it. So that's been a big thing for us. The wind, the rain. So yeah, that's a big one, is the weather. Expectations before we left, another one was the setup. I had in my head that I needed this big American truck, and I needed this massive big Caravan, and I had to have this big canopy and this big setup. In reality, once we're on the road, it doesn't matter. You're on the road, you're exploring the things that you want to explore, and nothing else matters. I see, like my car's worth about 15 grand, but I see other setups and they've got a cheaper car, and they've got a cheaper Caravan or a full on-road Caravan, a little pop top, whatever it may be. Overlanders as well, you know, people getting around Australia in rooftop tents, and then you got the swaggers and the tent people as well. We're all experiencing the same thing, and it's just phenomenal the amount of things that you just don't need when you're on the road that you thought you needed before you left. So it was a big learning curve for me. Once I got on the road, I realised that, you know what, I don't need to spend $200,000-300,000 on my setup to have a good time and to travel the same roads as everybody else. I'm doing it just fine as it is. So that's my experience. Obviously, if I had all that other gear, maybe I'd have a different opinion, but I don't, so that's my opinion there. The other thing with expectations versus reality is, I don't know if I expected this. I think I did. Mobile phone reception. So I expected it to be patchy in parts and not have it, but I didn't expect not to have it at all for long periods of time. So example, South Australia doesn't have any mobile phone reception. It's very minimal, and same with NT as well. Yeah, we do have good reception here and there, but majority, 85% of the time, we've had terrible mobile phone reception, and no mobile phone reception. So I've talked to a lot of people and they tell me, oh Clinton, you need to get the Cellfire Go and things like that, it'll boost your signal. I'm not bagging the product, I'm just saying that in my circumstances where I've been, we've had zero reception. So it's not, you can't boost zero. It just doesn't work for us. So I was very, very surprised, and I still am surprised, just being, you know, you can be 80 k's outside of a fairly major city, and you don't have any mobile phone reception. It blows my mind that we live in an age that we can do things, but we just can't get mobile phone reception. I don't mind not having mobile phone reception. I'm just saying that expectations versus realities is, the reality is we don't have mobile phone reception. So Things we didn't bring that we wish we did. I asked Jess this question. Hers was SUP, so stand-up paddleboard. She wished that we bought a stand-up paddleboard. We went to some pretty cool places and still are going to some cool places where if we just had a paddleboard to be able to get out on the water and, you know, go for a bit of a paddle up around and spend some time to yourself and just go off an adventure in your own little world. In Jess's mind, that's what she would like us to do next time we go on the road. I think you can get blow-up ones as well that don't take up too much room. So that's something that Jess mentioned that she wanted to add into this video, was stand-up paddleboard for her. Really would have just put another dynamic onto her travels and be able to get out on the water and whatnot. So no surprises. We're going to talk about water again. For me, tinny, rooftop tinny. I wish I'd bought it. I regret not bringing one. Any recommendations? I would recommend do not leave home without one. It's a necessity. You will go to some pretty awesome spots and you will be sitting on the side of the banks of a river or the beach or wherever you are and just wish that you had a tinny. That's my personal experience. I feel I haven't been catching any fish as well because I don't have a boat. So yes, I'm not sure if that's actually true or not, but that's what I'm going to put it down to. The other thing that we can both agree on, Jess and I both agreed on this other thing, which was a washing machine. We wish that we bought a portable washing machine, and I could have put it in the back of the Pajero and just pulled it out and rigged it up when we needed to wash. We didn't bring one. I could have mentioned this in the expectations versus reality. So at some stage before we left, I expected that I would put a bucket on the drawbar and the clothes would go in the bucket and I'd, you know, do it old Malcolm Douglas style, and by the time you pull up it's ready to hang out, whatnot. But I've never done that. I probably never will do that either, but washing machine, definitely, it's on my list for next time. We've spent hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars on washing machines. And these big industrial washing machines they have in caravan parks and in laundromats and whatnot, they're industrial for a start. They're not going to get the wash that we need, especially for Austin. His clothes get very, very dirty and soiled. So we need a bit better wash. And they're all cold washes, you know. It's very hard to find. I think we've only had it once where we got to get a warm wash from somewhere, or a hot wash maybe it might have been. So, yeah, that was probably something that we wished that we bought. We just didn't buy it, but next time we will, that's for sure. Things we bought that we never use. My wife is a massage therapist, so she had an idea before we left that she would bring her massage table and potentially make a bit of money on the road doing massages here and there. She's gotten the massage table out twice, and that was for me. So, and it takes up a fair chunk of room. It takes up probably half the top bunk. So, wish we'd never bought that. I don't wish we never bought it. I wish I'd probably get more massages, is probably what I should say. The other one is guitar. I have an acoustic guitar in a hard case. I had this theory that we'd sit around a campfire as a family and sing Kumbayas at night time with some marshmallows. That just has never happened. I think I got it out once, and that's it. So, in saying that though, if for example we had a full van, like I'm talking about a hard actual caravan, and have all that storage under the bed that I've seen, if something that the table and the guitar could fit under there, then maybe I would have a different opinion. But at this point in time, they're useless to us. The other thing was, and I probably should mention in this video, is the annex. It's very, very heavy. It takes up a lot of room. I actually put it on the roof of the car. This is the third time we've gotten it out and used it. The first time was just because I wanted to see what it looked like and how hard it was to put up. And the other two times is because I've had to use it because we're bunkered down somewhere. But if I'd had my time over again, I probably wouldn't have gotten it shipped across to us. I just would have rode it out, rode that weather out, and I think off memory it was flies and whatnot. Jess was getting pretty cranky about the flies, so yeah, I probably wouldn't have bought it, to be honest, but I've got an anti-flap kit, and I've got sun shades and things like that as well to protect us a bit more from the weather. But it's doing its job today. So, life in a hybrid van. Interesting one, this one. So, like I said, we have the Jaguar Infinity 15 model. It's 15 foot, extends out the back to an 18 foot. It's got bunk beds, it's got the ensuite shower and toilet inside. Cooking facilities inside. There's a 2-burner inside with a sink, and then there's slide-out cooking facility outside, and then behind me here is the fridge outside. It's awesome. We love the van. We spent a lot of time looking around at other vans, months and months and months of research, and we kept coming back to this particular model. A few things that we just liked about it was just the way it was finished. It's very the quality on a lot of the finishes, and I'm not talking about door handles and hinges and that. I'm talking about suspension, and I'm talking about the hitch assembly and how other things look in the van and how it's finished. So for me, having that the suspension that Jaguar put on there straight out of the box, no questions asked, was a big feature that I really liked. Yeah, I'm not plugging the van, I'm not dissing the van, I'm just saying that's what prompted me to buy it. We're now 6 months into living in this thing, and it's been awesome, and it's been terrible. So let me start with terrible. Before the Annex got shipped over and it was windy, raining, we'd be bunkered down inside the van. There's myself, Jess, and a little toddler inside this van. It's just a bad time. So that's the terrible part. No matter how I would move shades around and put the anti-flap kit up and blah blah blah, the fact of the matter is, when you're making mad dashes outside to the fridge in the pouring rain, it's a bad time for everyone. It puts everybody in a bad mood, and whatnot. But on the flip side to that, I've had many nights where I've been cooking outside under the stars, on a beautiful night with a campfire going, and everything's outside. And that's why we bought the hybrid van, was to be outside, not to be inside. We wanted to make sure our son was outside as much as possible. That was the theory coming into this trip, and that's the theory that we still have. It's just, for us, it's just one of the best things that we've done, really, was to buy this hybrid van, and you put your own little spin on it. So I'm sitting at a table right now that we've bought, and it folds up very compact, but we have dinner at this table, so we have some little home creature comforts, like I set the table sometimes, and we have dinner at the table outside and whatnot. We're not just sitting on camp chairs and whatever. But yeah, it's good. We chose the lithium battery upgrade, so I have 200 amp hour of battery, which is very good. I'd probably get more next time though, and I'd probably get a bigger charger next time. I'm not a professional, but I think I just want the bit bigger one. Yeah, just to get a bit more battery life. But yeah, no, it's good. Having the lithium battery, we have the lithium 200 amp hour upgrade that we got in our van, and it's very good. When the sun comes out, it charges it very quickly. We also use a lot of power as well, and just little things, like I've got the Wi-Fi anti-theft system that chews a little bit of power, not much, a little bit. I've got the electronic anti-rust system that chews a little bit, and then you got the breakaway, and then a couple other things. But when you got full sun, it's just bang, back up. 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, it's back up to 100%. Like it charges very quickly, which is very good. Quick stat, I probably should have mentioned this earlier. I'll get about 3 days-ish out of not having the sun. We're very conservative on the power, and I get about 3 days of, without any power going into it, I can get about 3 days out of the van. And And you know, the other thing about living in the hybrid van, we've got 240 litres worth of water that we carry. It's quite a lot. I can get, as a family, we can stretch it to about 10 days. I think we've gotten about 10 days out of our water once before. That was by necessity. Might have been 9. So it's very, very good to be able to cart around that much water. And I actually have jerry can. I've got a couple other water mechanisms that I carry around. Like we went into a camp the other day and I had nearly 300 litres of water between the van and what was in the car and whatnot, because I knew that we were going to be there for a long time. So I wanted to take in as much water as we could. So anyway, living in a hybrid van, it's very good, it's very bad. It's a love-hate relationship. It's more love than it is hate. When the weather's good, it's absolutely fantastic. One thing to point out about living in a hybrid van is that you, and I mean me, always has the messiest campsite. We will drive out of a place and I'll drive in, I'll go past all these caravans and they've got their awning out and there's 2 little chairs sitting there, and that's all they've got. And then we roll around into our campsite and I've got kids' toys sprawled out everywhere. I've got soccer balls, I've got a bin, I've got the kitchen pulled out, I've got this table, and I've got his Austin's high chair. It just looks messy. There's an organised chaos to it, but it just looks messy. So if you're in the market for a hybrid van, or if you've got a hybrid van, you probably know what I'm talking about. You don't have the messiest campsite, but it's just perception. It looks like you're a bit of a it looks like you're just not sure what's going on. So clothes and accessories. So I just thought I'd chuck this one in because it was a bit of a funny one. And probably could go back to this expectations versus reality. So when we left, I took some nice pants, nice dress shirt, my nice riding boots, thinking that we were gonna, you know, go out for swanky dinners and hit the wineries in some swanky nice clothes, me Sunday best. I'm telling you, I've been rolling around in $5 singlets, $5 shorts. This was probably $8 or $9, I suppose. The reason for that is I'm always dirty. I'm always tinkering around or playing with Austin, and you know, you're always outside, so I'm always doing something that just inadvertently makes me dirty, whether it's stoking a fire and getting all that smoke all over you or whatnot. Yeah, I just find myself always just rocking around in some cheap clothes, and I've absolutely enjoyed it. A long time ago, I packed away all the good clothes because we just don't have the storage space for both. So packed all that away, and now I just rock around in the cheap clothes. The other thing is we didn't pack any winter clothes when we left. Massive regret. So we went down to South Australia and very quickly got windy. There was a couple of really cold days and we beelined it into the shopping centres and bought some winter clothes. So we have them as backup. I just put them away underneath the lounge inside in that little storage area when we're not using it. So, and accessories. So the reason why I want to talk about accessories is when you're off grid, I should say, it's very important that you're that you're saving power, but you're also living your life as well. So I have a computer here. This is generally what it looks like of a night time if Jess is putting Austin to sleep. I come out and I might do some editing or muck around on some businesses that ventures that we're doing, but I'll just be sitting here of a night time. But how I power it up, I use a 150 watt 12 volt inverter. It plugs in a 12 volt socket outside, and then my laptop just plugs in as normal. So it was cheap, it's about $30 I think. So that's just something that I use. And why I'm mentioning that is because when you're on 12 volt power, try to get everything 12 volt, because once you start using I've got a 2000 watt inverter inside. Once I turn that on, the inverter's chewing power to supply power. So I'm trying to take that step away. Yes, I'm using a 12 volt inverter. I get what you're about to say, but I'm just trying to bring everything back to a 12 volt system just to make things a bit more user friendly. With that, and also with clothes, Jess has stopped wearing dresses. Jess is always rolling around in dresses at home, but since we've been on the road, she's stopped buying dresses because they're just not practical, especially when I'm trying to get her to help me set up an annex or or put an anti-flap kit on if she's helped me with that or whatnot. We just pull up somewhere and want to go for a walk. Dresses aren't user friendly. I don't know enough about dresses to go on any further. So off-grid versus on-grid. What I wanted to mention that was being off-grid is probably the one most single thing that I want to do before I left. Was I didn't want to be in caravan parks. I didn't even want to be around other people at times, and just go bush, turn up dirt roads and just see where that road takes us, pull up for the night, live our life how we would normally in the van, and not have to worry about power or not have to worry about water or anything like that. It's by far the best thing to have at your disposal when you're on the road, is the ability to just pull up somewhere and just pull up for the night and whatever, it doesn't matter. The reason why I say that is because if you're looking to buy a van and you know you're umming and ahhing about, let's say, the lithium battery pack that most manufacturers will offer you as an upgrade, for me, hands down, I'd get it every time. And why? Because it'll pay for itself in the long run, and it's paid for us. This is my experience. It's paid itself for us. It's paid for itself quite a number of times. So on-grid, and what I mean by on-grid, I'll just talk caravan parks. So caravan parks, the reason why we're going to caravan parks, I mentioned it earlier, washing machines. We tend to pull into a caravan park to use their washing machine, and I just take advantage of filling the tanks up. And some caravan parks let you wash your vehicles as well, so that's very, very nice of them. Depends on where you are, of course. But the other thing is, Austin typically gets to have a play. We meet more people or young families in caravan parks, especially the ones that have playgrounds and water slides and whatnot. So we tend to gravitate towards those particular parks. Sometimes your batteries just run out or run very low, and that's what I do, is rip into a caravan park for the night, fill the water tanks up, do the washing, reset everything, plug the power in, charge the battery back up. Next morning we tend to roll out. Sometimes, and other times we might get to a place and it's a primo location. That's the other thing about caravan parks. They tend to, a lot of them, be at primo beach site locations where it just makes sense to be there. So, all right, best and worst things about living on the road. I'll start with the best. Jess and I agree on this one wholeheartedly, that we get to spend time together as a family every minute of every day, so it's very, very good for us to do that. Another thing is we get to explore this land. This is such a beautiful country, and we get to go out and go on adventures every single day of the week. It's just so cool to be able to do that. And if I was to go back to that expectations versus reality, I just did not expect our country to be as beautiful as it is. I assumed it would be pretty nice, but it's just blowing us away how beautiful this landscape is that we have. So get out and enjoy it if you can, because yeah, we're certainly having a lot of fun doing it. So worst things, weather. Weather's probably one of the worst things as a traveller that you can encounter. It is what it is. You just deal with it. You either run from it or you just deal with it, bunker down, and get on with it. And the reason why we bunker down sometimes is because we might be at a location like we are now, where we know it's going to come good, and when it comes good, it's going to be epic, and we don't want to leave because we won't come back. Like, once we go, we're gone. So yeah, just that. Worst things. Another one is dogs, more specifically dog owners. I am not impressed one single bit about dogs on the road. I understand they're a companion for a lot of people, and the reason why I'm saying it's one of the worst things is because Austin has been run at no fewer than probably 6 times by dogs, big dogs, little dogs. Jess, we're at, I can't remember where we were, in South Australia, and Jess had to run after Austin and pick him up over her head, and this dog jumped up onto Jess. That dog just would have barreled him over, and it just frightens him. I don't know what type of dog you have. And dog owners, every single dog owner tells me every single time it happens, oh, don't worry, he won't or she won't hurt him or whatever. I don't know that. I'm his parent, and I make no apologies about my attitude towards you, the dog owners, or to the dog itself. Also had a dog. We were in some bush camp somewhere in Northern Territory, and the dog itself, and I was watching this dog, was like stalking Austin while he was playing around trees and that like he was prey. And I had to go out there twice, so I run him off. And just so happens, it was the owner's dog. So I'm not a fan of it. I understand why people have dogs and take dogs. They're a beloved pet. I get it. But keep your dog on a lead, especially when it's around me and my son. And that's probably all I'll say about that. It makes me wild just talking about it here. I get very, very cranky about it. So that's probably it. Other than that, just the weather, dogs, dog owners. I suppose one other thing was just being judged. That's probably, I just don't like people telling me that I can't be on the road or I'm too young to be on the road. Why are you on the road? It's not your time type of questions. I don't like it. It makes me feel uncomfortable. We're all just traveling, having a good time. So just be nice to people. That's probably the only other thing I can say is everyone just needs to be nice to each other. Everyone's running their own race as well. Yeah, you might have a $400,000 setup. You might be the bee's knees of your own little bubble. But in reality, you know, we're all just chugging along doing our own thing. So it's very important that, especially when you're in caravan parks and populated areas, just be friendly. Just say hello, say goodbye. No one's out to get you. All right, last thing to end this is, are we still having fun? So, of course we are. We love going out, like I just said before. We love going out on adventures every day. We love hanging out with each other every day. We're just having the best time that we could possibly have. Our expectations have just been blown away by the people that we meet. I spoke before about being friendly to people and whatnot. We have met some outstanding people on our travels, and they're just such beautiful people that we've met. Young families traveling, older people traveling, grey nomads, whatever it may be. We've just met some really nice, down-to-earth people, and I didn't expect to do that. I didn't expect to make some really, really good friends like we have. We've made some really good friends on the road, and hopefully we get to keep those friends for a long time, whatnot. But yeah, we're still having fun. Jess is pregnant, however, so there was a point during her first trimester where she was sick very, very badly all the time. They call it morning sickness. It's not, it's midday, it's afternoon, it's night. So if I was asked this question a little bit a couple of months ago, the answer would be no, Jess is not having fun. But that's all past now, and yeah, we're back to having fun again. So, all right, that's it. Any questions or comments, leave them down below, and we will see you in the next episode. Coming up, I've got some cool things coming up. Litchfield National Park episode is going to be brilliant. It's a little ways down the track. I'm just editing that now, but just the footage just looks fantastic. And the next couple of episodes will be the top end. We explore Northern Territory. So thanks for watching, and yeah, like I said, any questions, comments, see you soon.